Hello students, it's Nazia Begum here welcoming you all in today's lecture. So in today's video, we are going to discuss the application of Biot-Savart law. So here in front of you, you can see one topic is written. Magnetic field at the center of the circular coil carrying current. Okay. So here in front of you, you can see here this is one coil. It is made up of a conducting wire. And in this wire the current is flowing, and because current is flowing through the wire, so here a magnetic field will be produced. Okay, and we have to find out what is the strength of magnetic field at the center of this loop. So here you can see O, this is the center of the loop. Okay, and what is the radius? Radius is R. Okay, radius is capital R here. So this radius capital R will be the distance between the current carrying conductor and the point where we have to find out the magnetic field. To find out the magnetic field at point O, due to this circular loop, we will take one small element. Okay, a small element Nm whose length is dl. Due to this small element, we will first find out what is the magnetic strength here. Then we will integrate that for the whole loop. Okay. So according to Biot-Savart law, dB equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl into R upon R cube, or we can also write it like this: mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sine theta upon R square. Now here in the diagram you can see this is the direction of current, this is the direction of the distance vector, and the angle between them is 90 degree. So here in place of theta we will put 90 degree, and the value of sine 90 is 1. So we have dB equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl upon R square. Okay, here we have taken mod of dB. Okay, because here now we are only concerned with the magnitude of the magnetic field, and for magnitude we will take out the mod. So when we take out mod of any vector quantity, it becomes scalar quantity. Okay, so this formula is only showing the magnitude here. This is the magnetic field strength due to the small element dl. If we want to find out the magnetic strength due to the whole circular loop, we will integrate it. Okay, so here I, that is the current, R, that is the radius, mu naught upon 4 pi, they all are constant. Okay, in this loop what thing will change? There will be change in the length of the wire. Okay, initially we have taken length as dl, a very small length. If we want to find out the magnetic field strength due to the loop, the length of the conductor will change. So we will integrate the length here. So here you can see, when we have to find out the magnetic field due to the whole loop, we will integrate dB. So mu naught I 4 pi R square, they all are constant, it will come out, and here the integration will be of dl only, that is the length element. Okay, and when we integrate the small length, so what we are actually doing? We are actually finding out the total length of this circular loop, and this length is called the perimeter. And what is the formula for perimeter of a circle? It is 2 pi r. So in place of integration of dl, we will put 2 pi r. Here 2 and 4 will cancel, pi and pi will cancel, 1 r and 1 r will get cancelled. So we have B equals to mu naught I upon 2r. This is the required magnetic field at the center O due to the current carrying circular loop. Okay. Now here we have taken a loop in which only one turn is there. Suppose in place of loop there is one coil and in that coil n number of turns are there. So what will be the magnetic field there? It will be simply the n times of this magnetic field. So when n number of turns are there, we will multiply this value with n. So we will get this equation. Here in this equation, we have only talked about the magnitude of the magnetic field. If we have to find out the direction of the field, then what we will do? The direction can be obtained by using right hand thumb rule or Biot-Savart law. Okay? Here, because the direction of current we have taken as clockwise direction, so that's why the direction of magnetic field will be perpendicular to the plane of the paper and it will be in downward direction. Okay? If the direction of current will be anti-clockwise, that time the direction of magnetic field will be perpendicular to the plane of paper in upward direction. Okay? How we get this? This we have already discussed in class 10th in screw rule or right hand thumb rule. If the direction of current is clockwise, the direction of magnetic field will be in downward direction. If the direction of current is anti-clockwise, then it will be in upward direction. Now suppose we don't have a full circular loop, but we only have an arc-shaped conductor. So that time what will be the value of magnetic field? So here in diagram you can see one arc-shaped conductor is there, and suppose this is the center O of this arc shape. So that time the magnetic field can be given by this formula. Okay? Here with this value we have only multiplied theta upon 360. Now by putting different values of theta, we can find out the magnetic field. For that we should know what is the value of theta. To get the value of theta, we will make two perpendicular lines, okay, which will start from the center and touch one end of the arc at one side and another end of the arc at another side. So like this we will have one angle. Okay, this angle we measure and whatever the value will come, that value we put here. Okay, and after that we can find out the magnetic field due to that arc. Suppose if a semicircular loop is there. For semicircular loop, this angle will be a straight line, that is 180 degree. When we put 180 degree, so we can easily see that the magnetic field will become half than the full circular loop one. Okay, and if it is 90 degrees, so obviously it will become 1/4 times. So like that, by putting the value of theta, we can find out the value of magnetic field due to different shapes, different arcs. Now move to next topic. Here we have to find out magnetic field due to a circular current carrying loop at a point lying on its axis. In previous case also we have find out the magnetic field due to a current carrying loop, but the point at which we have find out the magnetic field was at the center of loop. Now the point is not at the center, but it is lying on any point on its axis. Now to find out that magnetic field, you first have to understand the figure very clearly. So here you can see this is one circular loop in which current is flowing in anti-clockwise direction. O is the center of the loop, R is the radius, I is the amount of current flowing in the loop. Okay, from center at a distance x we have taken one point P. Okay, and you can see this is the axis, this is axis of the loop. Okay, in perpendicular distance from the axis, we have taken one point P. First we will find out what is the amount of magnetic field at point P due to a small element Mn, okay, and after that we will integrate it for the whole loop. So here you can see we have taken a small element Mn whose length is dl. From this element the distance of point P is r, okay. Here x which we have taken, it is the perpendicular distance from the center, from center to the point P. This perpendicular distance is x, but right now we are finding out the magnetic field due to this small current element here Mn. So from here we will take one distance which is equals to r, okay. Now here r is making an angle with the perpendicular distance, that angle is alpha, okay. So here whatever field will be there, that will be resoluted in two direction, okay. So this is, here you can see, okay, here it is dB cos alpha, dB sin alpha, okay, and the resultant of dB cos alpha and dB sin alpha will be this one, dB, okay. So this is the resultant magnetic field due to this current element. Now when we have to find out magnetic field due to another current element just opposite to Mn, we take it as m dash n dash, its length is also dl. Here this another current element is just opposite to Mn, we have given it name m dash n dash, its length is dl, okay. From dl this is the position of P, here also it will make an angle alpha, okay, and the distance will be same as it, the distance will be same and it will be r only. So here also the magnetic field will resolute in two direction, dB cos alpha, dB sin alpha, and their resultant will be this one, okay. So here you can see one thing, that when two opposite current element we take, so the cos component of magnetic field, they are going opposite to each other and that's why they both cancel each other. But sine elements, they are going in same direction and that's why they will be added up. When we take different small current elements, so in opposite to that, at the opposite side also small elements will be there, small current elements will be there, and when they all together will apply magnetic field here, so what happen, all the cos components, they cancel up each other, all the cos component get cancelled and only the sine components will left, because all the sine components are in same direction. So whatever resultant magnetic field will be there, that will be because of only the sine component. Is it clear? This type of situation we have discussed in case of electric field also, okay, and this is also that same kind of situation now. So I hope now you all have understood the diagram. Let's move to the derivation part now. According to Biot-Savart law, due to the current element Mn, that first element, this is the magnetic field at point P, okay, and when we put the value of sin 90, it will become mu naught upon 4 pi IDL r square. And when we calculate the amount of magnetic field due to the current element m dash n dash, that we show here by dB1, that also will be same as dB, okay. So here dB equals to dB1 equals to mu naught IDL upon 4 pi r square. We have already discussed that how they both are equal, okay, because they both are from same amount of current element dl, they both are at the same distance from P, so that's why their value also will be same. And we have also discussed that the cos components of the magnetic field get cancelled and only the sine component will left there. So in place of simple dB, we will take dB sine alpha. That means with this value, we will multiply sine alpha. Now we have to find out the value of R and sine alpha. For that, let's come back to our diagram. So here you can see this is one right angle triangle here. Okay. Here in this triangle, this is the perpendicular, this is the base and this is the hypotenuse. When we have to find the value of hypotenuse in a right angle triangle, we apply Pythagoras theorem here. That is r square equals to x square plus capital R square. Okay. So r equals to under root x square plus capital R square. When we remove square from the hypotenuse, the other side will get over root. So we get this value of r equals to x square plus r square whole power half. Now let's find out sine alpha. What is the ratio for sine theta? For sine, the ratio is perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Here in this diagram, this is the perpendicular, this is the hypotenuse. And for hypotenuse, we have right now derived one formula, x square plus capital R square's whole power half. When we put that value here, so sine alpha equals to r upon r or equals to r upon x square plus r square to the power half. Okay. So now this value is for the small current element. If we have to find out the value of magnetic field due to the whole loop, what we will do? We will do the integration. Okay. So when we will do the integration, all the constants will come out and only integration of dl will be there. So here we will, when integrate dl, it become 2 pi r. Okay, that is the perimeter of the loop. And here what we have done, in place of sine alpha, we put this value. In place of r, okay, we don't change anything for r. We simply have put sine alpha's value and solve it. So we got this equation, mu naught IR upon 4 pi r cube into 2 pi r we get by integrating dl. Then when we will cancel out the terms, we get this equation. After getting this equation, in place of this small r, we put this value. Okay, value from here we put here. If it is not a loop but a coil of n number of turns, so what we will do, we will simply multiply n here. Okay, and we get this formula. Now let us discuss some special cases. In first case, if we have to find out the magnetic field at the center of the coil, so here we put x equals to 0. Here in diagram you can see this is x, the distance between center and point P. If we put x equals to 0, that means point P will be here only at the center. So if we put x equals to 0 in this equation here, so this x term will get cancelled, it becomes 0 and we get this equation. Then by cancelling r, we get this equation, and this we have already got in previous topic. In second case, suppose x is far greater than r. That means the distance between center and point P is larger in comparison with the radius. So that time what happened? In this equation, at denominator, this r term will get 0. Only in denominator. So we get one equation like this, and by further solving it, we get this equation. Okay, where pi r square, this one pi r square, in place of this we put a, because pi r square is the area of the circular loop and we denote area by A. Okay, and capital M here is equals to IAN. It is called the magnetic dipole moment of the coil and its SI unit is ampere meter square. So this is it for today's lecture. See you in next lecture. Till then, goodbye, take care and do some productive work.